ants. Yeah, you heard me right. Ants. Welcome to the Tarantula Collective. My name is Richard, and today we're going to talk about ants. Personally, I don't like ants at all. No offense to you all that have some in your collection. But we're not talking about ants that we keep intentionally. Today we're going to be talking about those pesky ants that may invade your house and try to kill your tarantulas. Now, ants are not something a lot of us think about or take any steps to prepare for. But ants are an ever-present danger and can very quickly overwhelm a tarantula and kill it. They're a threat to our tarantulas, our scorpions, even some of our snakes and other reptiles. A lot of the times, ants are attracted to your tarantula enclosure because they're seeking out moisture, or maybe because there's some kind of food source in there, like some dead crickets or something you didn't clean out. The problem with ants is that it starts with just one or two kind of snooping around, and before you know it, you've got hundreds of them taking over. So what we're going to cover in this video are some steps you can take to prevent an ant infestation, as well as some things you can do if some ants find their way into your tarantula room. Now, ants are going to be traveling around looking for some moisture and a food source. So the first tip is pretty obvious. Don't leave any food or drinks in your tarantula room. I know we all keep our tarantulas in different types of places throughout our house, but one way you can avoid ants finding your tarantulas is by not leaving any sugary drinks or uneaten food, or even things like dead feeders. Just don't leave that kind of stuff out, and be sure to clean up after yourself. And also, if there are any spills or damp areas, dry them up, because ants will get attracted to moisture as well, so you'll want to avoid any kind of sitting water. One thing that I do is I have a dehumidifier over in the garage side of my basement. There's also small little dehumidifiers you can get to put into cabinets or any kind of small enclosed space that might get damp. It will help cut down on some of that humidity and hopefully not be attractive for an ant. Something else I do to avoid an ant infestation doesn't actually happen inside the tarantula room. I spray all around the base of my house with an insecticide that creates a barrier that keeps a lot of ants and other types of insects from coming into my home. These things are fairly inexpensive and just takes a few minutes to walk around your house and spray, and they provide a nice line of protection. There's very little risk that chemical will actually make its way into your house and into your tarantula's enclosure, so you can pretty much use that without worrying too much. Something else I do here, because we have a huge problem with mosquitoes and other types of insects, I spray my entire lawn with an insecticide or kind of bug repellent. It's kind of like a pesticide that will keep the mosquitoes and biting flies and ants and any of those undesirable insects you don't want attacking you while you're sitting on your front porch. It also will help keep them from getting inside my home. Now, I know a lot of people get nervous using any type of bug spray and worry about cross-contamination, getting it on their hands and bringing it into their home, and that's somehow getting introduced to their tarantulas. But I've been doing this for many years. I've never had a problem. Just always be sure to wash your hands up, and if you've got dogs or cats, don't let them walk around in the yard for a couple hours until that stuff has a chance to dry. One thing you never want to do under any circumstance is to spray any kind of pesticide like Black Flag or any of those ant-killing sprays inside your tarantula room. Because the same type of chemicals or toxins that work to kill the ant can also kill your tarantula. Your tarantula is susceptible to the same type of toxin. So never use any bombs or sprays inside of your tarantula room, or really probably not even inside your house if you want to be super careful. And be careful letting your dogs or cats anywhere near your tarantula enclosures, especially after you've already sprayed your yard. That will definitely help eliminate really any possibility of cross-contamination. Now, something else I do as a preventative measure is I get the little ant hotels, the little bait traps that they have that don't actually have any real poison that comes out of them, but if an ant walks in there, they think that it's food, they bring it back to the queen, and then that ends up killing the entire colony. Now, I keep mine down in the basement, and I've got these windows kind of up near the ceiling down here, and I've noticed that from time to time, especially with a lot of rain or anytime the seasons change, there'll be a few ants start making their way in. So I set those little traps up by any entrance I think they may find, whether it's cracks in a wall or by the windowsills, at the base of the door, places like that. Anywhere that I think an ant might start venturing through, I'll go ahead and put one of those little traps in their path. My hope is that they will find that trap before they find a tarantula enclosure and will bring back that poison to the colony and take care of the problem for me. And if you find a location where ants are entering into your tarantula room, especially if it's like a crack in the wall or along a baseboard or something like that, you can get some silicone or some spray foam or really there's all kinds of things you can get, but just go ahead and seal those cracks, fill them up, just go ahead and close that door so they can't find their way in. And anytime you see an ant that's wandering around your tarantula room, once you dispatch it and get rid of it, get a little water and vinegar and clean up the entire area that you saw the ant. That way you'll go ahead and neutralize any of the chemicals that it laid down in a trail that other ants will follow. Now, if you're using any kind of shelving system like I've got back here, one thing you can do is keep them off the wall a little bit. I got about a half an inch between the back of the shelves and the enclosures and the actual wall. That way if an ant is crawling around the wall looking for something, it's not going to be able to get to my enclosures. In fact, the only way an ant would really be able to get up any of my enclosures is by going up from the base of the shelves. So that's where the first line of defense comes into play. What I do is I take some Vaseline and smear it on the bottom of the legs. That creates a barrier where the ant won't be able to climb up the leg and find the enclosures. One of the issues with that though is that the Vaseline does dry out over time. So every few months you got to check on it and possibly apply some more. Now I wear gloves when I do it because Vaseline is kind of gross. You can even put tape around the bottom and put the Vaseline over the tape. So that way you can peel it off and throw it away, put on some fresh tape and then apply some fresh Vaseline. Something else I've done is take little deli cups or saucers or like the lids of Gatorade drinks or something like that and place that under the feet of the shelving system. Then I fill that little cap up with some vinegar mixed with water or a little dish soap or some mineral oil, and that creates a barrier that the ant won't cross or will die trying to cross. Again, keeping your enclosures safe. Now, the enclosure with the highest probability of having an ant infestation is going to be the more moist enclosures. So if you've got any bioactive setups or any tarantulas that are a little more moisture dependent, those are the enclosures you need to keep an eye on the most. Check on them every day or two, just continually monitor the situation, make sure that you have a nice line of defense around the enclosure, and don't let those ants move in. And keep an eye out around your entire house. Make sure there's no food or anything that would attract ants in your kitchen or bedroom or bathroom. If you take the steps necessary to keep your entire house ant-free, it'll be less likely that ants will find their way into your tarantula room. Now, if ants are already in the enclosure, all you need to do is remove your tarantula and quarantine it in a small enclosure temporarily. Then throw out all of the substrate in the enclosure. And when I say throw it out, I mean put it in a bag and take it out to the trash. Get it out of the house. So once you've thrown out all the substrate in the enclosure, clean the inside and outside. That's the top and the bottom of the enclosure with vinegar. And also clean the area around where the enclosure was sitting to get rid of any chemical the ant laid down that other ants may follow later. Now, once you've cleaned out the enclosure, go ahead and rinse it very well, and then begin to add new substrate. I usually will put in new plants or hides, but if you don't have any available, make sure you clean the plants and hides that were in there very thoroughly, and possibly even sterilize them to make sure there are no ants hiding away. Find out where the ants are coming in and take steps to seal up the holes or cracks in the wall or floor where they are entering, and place down ant bait that they will bring back to their queen to kill a colony. If there's a whole trail of ants leading up to the enclosure, you can vacuum them up or take a little bit of Dawn and warm water in a squirt bottle and spray down that line of ants. Vinegar also works. Whatever you do, just don't use any kind of bug spray. And if you're struggling with ant issues, feel free to reach out to other tarantula keepers. There's a lot of threads on arachnoboards, or you can join the Tarantula Collective Facebook group and ask any questions and get all kinds of experience and advice dealing with ants. Keeping your tarantula room clean is the first line of defense for protecting against ants, but even if it's completely sterile, ants will still find their way in. So always be ready and prepared and have a plan in case ants attack. And you can take any of these ideas and adapt it to your specific setup. If you've only got a few tarantulas, then you can just elevate their enclosures a little bit and put Vaseline along the bottom of the feet of whatever you're elevating it with. Just be imaginative. Take my experience, the things that I've mentioned here, and use them to come up with your own way of protecting against ants. It's such a helpless feeling to see your tarantula being attacked by ants, and a lot of times they don't survive. It happens so quick, there's not much you can do about it if you're coming in at the very end. So we don't always have a chance to save a tarantula that's being attacked by ants, but we can take steps to prevent the infestation in the first place. If you enjoy videos like this, as well as species-specific care and husbandry videos, then go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll be alerted anytime I upload a new video in the future. If you've got any other tips or experience in dealing with ants that I didn't mention here in this video, be sure to leave that down below in the comments so that the whole community can benefit from your experience. It's always good to get a conversation going on topics like this so we can all learn and become better keepers. If you enjoyed this video or possibly learned something, go ahead and hit that like button. It means a lot to me. And feel free to subscribe and share this video with your friends. I upload new videos every Tuesday for Tarantula Tuesday. If you want to get your own Tarantula Collective merchandise, just go to my website, thetarantulacollective.com. There's also links to all the social media platforms I'm on, so you can get yourself a t-shirt and stay connected. Well, in my opinion, ants are never a pleasant topic, but I appreciate you watching. Well, that's going to wrap it up for me. I will see you next Tuesday.